Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast, and today me and Liam are discussing whether death by exploration should be introduced into the Dark Pictures anthology. So mate, I'm going to throw it straight over to you because I believe we have a comment on this very issue.
Yeah, we do. So it's none other than from my brother. I just can't see death by exploration as a valid option. These are games that award exploration, so if I knew it could kill me, I would probably not bother with secrets. Maybe they could do something where there is a corridor with a secret and a Wendigo, for example, and you have to lure the Wendigo away before you can grab the secret. And you know what, mate? I like the idea of death by exploration. So what we're saying as an example is, let's say you're playing Little Hope, you're walking down a dark road, and maybe you're not supposed to go to a certain bit because a monster can come out and instant kill you or something along those lines. Maybe that is too extreme. I like the idea of it to an extent, and I think context matters. So I'm going to take House of Ashes, for example. You know, you can step on those green things when you're in the absolute underground bit and those pools break out. Maybe if you step on 4 or more, then maybe that leads to a death. I like the idea of it because I've always said that the DPA formula is getting a little dry for my taste. I know what to expect. I know there's going to be a character with plot armor. Your curator will come out, say some bits. And I do think the formula is getting a little repetitive, maybe. So I do think death by exploration could be a good thing to kind of include to maybe mix the mold a little bit and really kind of surprise us and change us, which I do think is healthy. But I kind of agree with this point about how you would be scared to grab clues. We're completionists, right? We want to grab as many frames as we can, as many clues to pick up, totems, pictures, whatever it is. Now, if you knew death by exploration could kill you, yeah, you would be a bit reluctant to look for certain items, and those certain items can be things that really help you join the dots to what's going on in the story. So if you were kind of reluctant to pick things up, it could actually hinder your gaming experience. So although, yeah, I'm kind of warm to the idea and I'd hear it out, I'm almost not welcome to the idea that it could outright kill you, because, yeah, that could be a jeopardy and it could be not a welcome one. How about yourself?
Yeah, you know what? It is a really good point because the whole clue thing is not something that I considered, because even before I read that comment, I was thinking they do need to innovate something. I'm thinking about those walking scenes, and you just know that there's zero jeopardy. You know that those are moments you are just there exploring the environment, looking for clues. And a lot of the jeopardy, a lot of the drama tends to happen in cutscenes where you've got to make a QTE, for instance. And to see them innovate and do something different, I think, especially because it's horror, would really keep you on your toes. They've sort of flirted with the idea in the Devil in Me with the balance beam thing, but even then you had to cross it in order to get to the next part of the game. It's not like you were balance beaming to get to a clue and then you had to turn around and come back again, you know. So the execution of it, I think, is going to be very, very key, because as you say, I think just walking to a random spot and then getting attacked and instant death, even the quarry, how we felt Max's death is quite harsh and a bit ridiculous. You either choose to stay on the island or you choose to leave. The guy's not even got on the pier and the werewolf's there ripping his head off or whatever, or gutting him. So it feels a bit unjust. So you can imagine death by exploration that fans would get pretty peeved, especially if they're at a point where they've got a lot of clues, they're keeping everyone alive, and something like that gets their character killed off. So I've got to admit, my position, I've sort of changed a bit. I'm slightly sitting on the fence. I want them to innovate, but it's how they do it, I think.
For sure, because I think we kind of first came about this point when we were doing that Supermassive Games survey they gave us. And I can't remember if they suggested it or you had it as an idea, but I definitely think there is a way to incorporate it with a compromise where it's not too fatal. But I definitely do think you could inject life into some of the older games we had. I always bring up Little Hope and the Dark Roads, where, sometimes it does feel like there's a lot of road walking. And I think about how you can incorporate it in a game like Directive 8020. And if I was to have it, I'd want it so maybe I've picked up a clue and something has said, oh yeah, that purple goo stuff, it lives in the ventilation shafts, it likes this. So you know that when you're walking down a corridor, you might want to avoid walking next to like the ventilation shaft. Maybe there's like a crewmate dead body by it, so you know something's happened by it. That way, like, it's not just random. There are clues and evidence to kind of tell you what you probably shouldn't do. And even then, let's say I did go too close to the ventilation door or shaft or whatever, maybe it doesn't lead to instant death. Maybe it leads to QTEs, which I could have avoided, but I can still succeed those QTEs. That way, it's kind of like a get out of jail free card in a way, but you still could die from it. I do think, like, if you compromised a little bit, there is a way to make it a legit thing to put in these games. But yeah, like, I don't think you can blindside us by putting us with an outright nasty thing where instant death, but, you know, doing something completely horrible. Because yeah, like my brother mentioned as well, you've got things like Ashley and the trapdoor, whether like that has a clue, you know, so you could like find a way to avoid it if you actually took time to read the clue. So maybe reward the players that, you know, dig deep, do their research, dive, you know, read, take their time with the game. I think that could be an interesting way of doing it, mate.
I think so. There's actually two things I thought of bounced off that. So like one is that, you know how typically these games are very linear in the path you have to take to progress the game? We've mentioned in previous videos before, it would be so cool if you could have like different routes to go, you know, to get to a set location or to get back round to the linear path. And maybe, yeah, like maybe you do have to balance along a beam to get to a clue, and then there's the, you know, a little QTE or something you've got to do. But even like looking at the quarry, it's sort of similar to your example before. You have the choice, don't you, of like Shady Glade and Rocky Road. Now, I did choose Rocky Road in my blind playthrough, and I do swear that I saw like a sign basically saying that it's dangerous, that rocks could fall. So actually, when I was playing that bit, I was kind of on edge, like expecting QTEs to come. Now, nothing come of it, but I feel like that could be a nice example for death by exploration, in that, you know, that you're walking along, if you're playing as Nick, you're walking along this sort of like big rock, and then it could be something you step on, it could be that suddenly, you know, a bird or something knocks some rocks off the top and you've got to hit some QTEs in order to dodge them. So like, you would have missed it had you picked Shady Glade or you'd gone another way, but it's also there as like a genuine possibility that if you're not switched on, you can then get punished for it.
No, big time. No, I'm all for that. So like, yeah, there's definitely a way to incorporate this. It's just, yeah, like they've got to be very precise with how they go about it. But you never know. This could be a pipe dream, mate. Maybe we'll never see death by exploration in these DPA and Supermassive games.
It could well be, but there we go, guys. Obviously, we've just preempted this discussion. Do hit us in the comments of what you think. Do you think that death by exploration should be a thing that's introduced in the Dark Pictures anthology, or heck, even Supermassive Games going forward? Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'll look forward to reading and replying to them. And until the next one, we will see you in the next video.
See you in the future.